A ton of things to do today. We start with one of the more interesting political campaigns frankly, in the country this year. It's in the 3rd District of West Virginia, the Southern District. Longtime Democratic incumbent Nick Rahal is being challenged by Republican Evan Jenkins, who joins us on Metro News Talkline this morning. Evan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Hoppy. How are you?
I'm well. How is it out there on the campaign trail? A little bit different than just running in the Senate. You got to cover the whole district, and you just came off 60 days in the session. How's it gone so far?
It's going great. We got started late this summer, early fall. Spent a lot of time in just about all 18 counties of the 3rd Congressional District before the session went in January. Yes, tied up for 60 days, but still working legislatively on trying to fix some of West Virginia's tough problems, and lots of challenges ahead, but now full-time on the campaign trail and excited.
I'm actually changing course here because there are already a lot of ads out there on behalf of you, and now push back on behalf of Congressman Rahal, your opponent. And I think there's a lot of time to get into some of the tit for tat. I want to spend a little bit of time, though, first, in the early stages of this campaign, on your philosophy, so people know who you are, if you can define some of these. For example, as a now Republican, and you switch from Democrat to the Republican Party, and as a person who's described himself as a conservative, what can you define the proper role for government in the lives of its citizens?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I'm a problem solver. I am not a strict partisan that only sees it one way or the other. Throughout my 17, 18 years in the legislature, I have worked on some of the most challenging issues facing West Virginia, such as the fact that our healthcare system was ready to implode back in 2000, 2001. We were life-flighting people out of the capital city, and I helped lead the charge to bring common-sense reforms that kept our healthcare workers in West Virginia. I've been a champion on children's issues, have fought against child predators, pushed for setting up the Internet registry where screen names and usernames can be accessed by parents to see whether or not the people that their children are being communicated with on the Internet are somebody who's a front as a child predator. So we have solved a lot of problems.
Well, let me interrupt you. Okay, that's your personal resume, and I understand that, and that says something about it. But give me an overarching, if you can, view about your philosophy that says something about who you are, what you believe the proper role of the federal government is, because there's an ongoing debate constantly in Washington about should the government do more, should the government do less. Can you explain what your governing philosophy is or would be if you got to Washington?
Sure. I am a believer in limited government. I think there are certain things that government does have a responsibility to do. We need a strong national defense. We need to have regulations only so far as that they are critically necessary to protect the common interests, public safety. But the idea of what we have seen over these, in particular, last 5 years of the Obama administration, supported by Pelosi and Rahal, has been a marked increase in the expansion of the views of the role of government, and I disagree vehemently with the exploding national debt and deficit, and we need to get our spending under control. I believe in limited government. There is limited responsibilities and roles, but I am not a big government individual, and that's certainly not my philosophy.
Okay, let's take it. We're talking with Evan Jenkins, who's a Republican state senator and now Republican candidate for the 3rd District congressional seat held by Nick Rahal. Okay, let's take that philosophy on limited government and strong national defense, but limited government, trying to get spending under control. Well, the 3rd District of West Virginia is heavily dependent upon. There's a lot of people there in the district, which you know, who are on Social Security. A lot of people are on SSI. A lot of people are getting black lung benefits. A lot of people are getting food stamps. A lot of people are getting myriad benefits that are available to them by the federal government. Then how does that, as a supporter of limited government, you want to represent a district that is greatly dependent upon government? So fix that juxtaposition for me.
I believe that the role of government should be as a safety net for those most in need. I do not believe that government should be a system that is an enabler to keep people in a position where they are wholly dependent upon that government support. I believe in helping people. I have a long history of supporting those steps in government to try to help those most particular in need. But one of the greatest things that we could do is create a business environment, a jobs climate to put people to work. And that is what is so severely missing in this dialogue and debate. And unfortunately, it is characterized as it's either all government or no government. And that's not what I subscribe to. I believe there are lots of things that the federal government, state government can do to get off the backs of the business community, get off the backs of individuals, to free up our economy, get people back to work. And there's no better example as it relates to the EPA and the coal permit issue. It's just devastating. So I would like to create an opportunity for people in southern West Virginia to get up and go to work in a good-paying job. Coal jobs are great jobs, $67,000 a year average salary, and it's just incredible that Nick Rahal just a few years ago suggested that the EPA in holding up coal mine permits was simply just doing its job. That was the wrong position to take, and we can do better. We must do better.
Congressional candidate Evan Jenkins is with us, Republican, 3rd District. Let me turn to the health care law, and obviously Congressman Rahal is getting beat up on Obamacare pretty severely, and you oppose the health care law. But again, let me go back to the 3rd District. When the numbers come out, we're going to find that thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people in the 3rd District are going to have Medicaid, are going to have health insurance through Medicaid, and thousands more, whatever that number is going to be, are going to be in the health care plan and get subsidies because they can't afford health insurance. Would you say to those people in the 3rd District, no, you should not be on Medicaid. I don't want you on Medicaid, and I don't want you in the health care law?
What I believe is we need to have access to quality health care. Obamacare is having a negative impact. Just a few days ago, we passed the state budget, and you teased up the fact that you're going to have later in the show relating to whether or not dipping into the rainy day fund. During the Q&A with the finance chair on the floor of the state Senate, I had him detail why we were dipping into the rainy day fund. And as much as I think he said 17 or $18 million of this raid on our nest egg was driven by the costs to the state of Obamacare implementation. You know, Obamacare was talked a lot about that the feds would pick up 100% of the cost. Well, that's simply not the case, and we are paying a dear price. But Medicaid is a program that reimburses at a very low level. It is a program that a lot of providers do not accept, and we are having a race, unfortunately, to a healthcare system that is much more government-controlled, less free market, which is going to drive up costs and it's going to limit choice. Let me
just hang on, and when we have you back again, we'll talk more about the health care law, and we got plenty of time here over the next couple of months. I just want to be specific on this point. So you believe, Evan, that one of the errors of ACA is putting thousands of more people on Medicaid. You do not believe, and don't let me put words in your mouth, but you do not believe that people under the health care law should be added to the Medicaid rolls. Is that correct?
I believe that we had a better way to fix health care in West Virginia, and that there is a role for Medicaid for those who have a very low income rate relative to the federal poverty level. We have had Medicaid in West Virginia. It has provided a benefit to those most in need, but solving health care and solving the access to care simply by expanding Medicaid to the level that it did is not the right way to fix our healthcare system. It is a big government approach, but again, do I support Medicaid in a limited role? Absolutely. But should we have fixed health care and driven the access to care simply by expanding Medicaid? That is not the right way to fix health care. We can do better.
I tell you what, we're going to have you back, and of course Congressman Ray Hall as well, because I want to spend a lot more time during this campaign of drilling down on the issue. Yeah, some of the ads will come up in the tit for tat, but I'm really more interested, and perhaps you are as well, of letting people know where you are on specific issues so they can make informed decisions. Evan, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. We'll have you back, and be safe out on the campaign trail.
Thanks, Hoppy. Welcome the opportunity. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.